Thanks for joining me for another video. Welcome to my channel, Bananas for Bikes. Today we are going to be talking about my system for bike touring. Now this is my Cannondale Topstone that I've outfitted with a Bontrager rear rack as well as a Blackburn frame bag in size large and a Blackburn Outpost carry-all bag. I do have another carry-all bag for the other side, but we'll get into that later. This is going to be a review of the products that I would take with me when I'm touring, let's say on a 7-day or a 5-day trip. And the purpose of this video is not necessarily to go into everything that you need to bring for a trip, all the details of all the different items that you might want to take with you, but it does showcase that you don't need front mounts for a front fender or even bags. A lot of forks these days have mounts for different kinds of bags, and I just want to show you that you can bring everything you need for a 5 to 7 day trip without those, depending on the conditions and other things. Now, if you're doing a world tour or something like that, you might want to have a little bit more space than this. But this is a great place to get you started in terms of lightweight touring with a good amount of gear, but not too much. So starting at the front of the bike, I have the Blackburn carry-all bag. That's just going to have a water bottle. Here I just have a thermos. It's a 20-ounce thermos. I have one on order for the other side, so because the frame bag takes up all the space that you would normally use for your water bottles, this space is better used for a frame bag. It also helps keep that weight lower and center to the bike, whereas these are nice for water. And if you don't even need to keep both of them with water. You could put snacks in the other one, camera gear, electronics, your phone, whatever items that you might want to get access to on a quickly. Looking here at the frame bag, again, this is the Blackburn frame bag. I think it's called the Outpost. In the description, I'll put a link for all of these products. This is really cool because it has a zipper on it, so you can actually raise this up and use it just for day trips or expand it depending on what you want to put in here. Now, for this frame bag, this is where I'm going to keep all my supplies that I might need to fix the bike. I've got a couple spare tubes because right now I'm not running tubeless, but you could put a tubeless kit in there. And of course, if you are touring tubeless, you're going to want to bring a couple spares anyway, just in case. I also have a pair of sunglasses. A cable, a D-lock. Now this could also fit inside the panniers if you didn't want to have it here, if you don't plan on locking your bike up. I've done some tours where I didn't even bring a lock because there was always going to be someone with the bike. You don't need one lock for every bike on the trip. I also have everything else that I would need to fix my bike. So here I have a bike pump, I've got some tire levers, I've got the Crank Brothers multi-tool. This multi-tool is pretty awesome. It's got all the different Allen keys that you might need, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 mil. It's got screwdrivers, flatheads, it's got star keys, it has a chain breaker on it. It also has this little wrench thing. I don't know if I've ever used that. And then if you remove, I think if you remove this, there's actually spoke tighteners right here. So you can actually tighten your spokes with this as well. So this has a lot of functionality in a small space. Now, if there's other tools that you want to bring that might be specific to your bike, such as wrenches, pedal wrenches, I've seen people even bring like cassette removers. There's plenty of space left in there that you could tuck those tools in there, no problem. Moving on to the back of the bike, here we just have two panniers. Now I do want you to keep in mind, I still have all this space here. So if you did want to bring another bag of some sorts, you could keep it back here. Now some people might argue that having the weight distributed front and rear is more beneficial than this kind of packing where most of the weight's on the rear of the bike. I will say from my experience touring, especially with front panniers, I don't like how the bike handles or turns with front panniers. I prefer to have most of the weight on the rear. And again, a lot of these are lightweight products, so they're not going to take up or create a lot of weight in the rear anyway. But the nice part about this system is these panniers can come off if you go to a bar, if you go to the restaurant, if you go to a hotel, if you want to go to the beach. The nice part is you can bring your two bags with you and you're good to go. You're not leaving 4 panniers on your bike, because when you tour with all those bags, you have to think you need to carry all those bags. And if you're solo touring, you're not going to be able to carry all those bags at once. So you need to keep an eye on them if you're not next to your bike. So this allows me to take everything with me when I get off the bike, and I'm good to go. So in this bag, this is where all my food and my kitchen stuff would go. You'll notice that this bag actually is empty because this is just a demonstration. I haven't filled this with any food at all. But here we have an entire pannier just for your food. You might argue, well, I don't need a full pannier, and that's the point. You don't need all this space. Here I have a water filter and an extra water bottle. This is by Grail. Really cool guys at the company. Had a few email chats with them. Awesome product. You can fill it up with water and it just compresses down and filters. Here's the filter in the bottom. If you want to see a review on this product, put in the below in the comments section. I'll make a little video on this, but this is great because not only can you carry water, but it's also your water filter. I also have my MSR wind burner stove, and this also has a cup on the bottom. This is what I'm going to drink out of. This is what I'm going to eat out of. So all of these products are multifunctional. I don't have a separate bowl, a separate cup, a separate cook set. It's just one product. And this also has the canister and everything else in there for cooking. This is also what I eat out of too. You can eat directly out of this. So you only need one product. Now, because you have this full pannier empty, you can put all your dehydrated food in there, your snacks in there. You could also put a camp pillow in there if you wanted to bring a camp pillow. You could put more tools in there. You could put electronics in there. So you only need one pannier for most of your stuff. And then in the second pannier back here, this is all of the stuff I'll need when I go to camp. So I typically distribute the items on my bike based on the time of day in which they're used. So if I need easy access to stuff, it's going in the front of the bike. If I have stuff that's related to food, it goes in one pannier. If I have stuff related to tent supplies, camp supplies, I put it in another one. That way I'm not guessing where all my products are, and I don't have to access multiple panniers or multiple bags to complete one task. Here I have this is the brain or the lid of my backpack. You'll notice a lot of this gear comes from my lightweight backpacking setup. In here, this has toiletries, dental floss, toothbrush, toothpaste. It's got a camp towel. Here I even have, here's my camp towel. It's got a hat for sun in case you want to just chill with a fun hat. It's got some first aid stuff. Band-aids, tweezers. It's got tent stakes in here. I got some Velcro. I got a ton of stuff. I got more like little first aid wipes. You could even put a roll of toilet paper in here too. So this just helps keep everything organized. This is all the small stuff. You could fit electronics in here, GoPro in here, your chargers in here, your cables in here. Whatever you might need would just go in this bag. In here I have 2 more bags, 1 and 2. So in this bag, this is my tent. So this has my tent body and the tent fly. The one thing I did omit was my tent poles, which I'm now seeing right over there. But you could shove the tent poles in the side down here. That's not a problem at all. They're pretty compact. It's just a one-man REI quarter dome tent. It comes in at just over 2 pounds. No bottom sheet. Never needed it. You know, I've had the thing for like 6 years or 5 years, and I don't have any rips or tears or anything. Just be careful where you put it down and don't drag it across stuff. I don't need a bottom sheet. I don't need an extra tarp. I don't need a 3-person tent. I don't need a 8-pound tent from you know, the big box stores. In here, this is all of my clothes. This has all of my sleeping stuff too. My sleeping pad and my sleeping bag are all in this. I didn't compress this down all the way because it's not so important when you have a big pannier that you're putting it in. But here I have the Thermarest Neo Air, very tiny, the size of an Nalgene bottle. This is just my air mattress. I've got a spare pair of gloves. Before I forget, also what I'm wearing would be like my camp clothes. So I have a hat, I've got a lightweight hoodie. I could also be wearing like a puffer jacket right now, or a raincoat if you're expecting rain. I have a pair of pants on and some Crocs. So all of that could fit in this bag. And to make up the difference in space, I actually put all my road gear in here, the clothes I'd wear on the road, just so you can't say, well, you wore some of your stuff. Here's a cocoon liner. So this would help keep you warm if you are expecting temperatures below 40 degrees. Bandana in case you need to clean something, dry something, sweat, whatever. I have, again, this is some of my camp gear. I have a hat, right, because I'm not wearing a hat when I'm riding. I've got my pajama pants. I've got a bathing suit. I also wear this on top of my chamois shorts too, just so I don't look like such a cyclist sometimes. So these can double if you do want to wear them during the day, or just as, if the weather's warm, or as a bathing suit, which is their intended use. Remember, 5 to 7 days on the bike, 2 pairs of underwear. I'm wearing a 3rd pair. You know, I typically will only bring 1 or 2 pairs. You don't need 1 pair for every day. I've got a pair of socks on. I've got 2 extra pairs of socks. When you go to camp, if there's water, you can wash all your clothes, let it dry, wear them the next day. Here I've got my chamois shorts and my jersey. Again, to make up for the space of the clothes that I'm currently wearing, I put them in here. And then this is just my my down quilt. This is actually a really awesome down quilt. This is Enlightened Equipment. It's like a cottage company, really cool. I mean, super lightweight. You get to pick the colors. This is a 30 degree. I'd probably get a 10 degree, just because I do a lot of camping in the fall. But the 30 degree is perfect for summer. So that kind of wraps up all the products that I would bring. It covers my clothing that I would wear at camp. It covers my sleep system, including a pad, my sleeping bag, and my tent. It includes all of the things I would need to cook with. I could also bring up, you know, a spork, a titanium spork. I have first aid. I've got little other things I would use around camp, knife, little tools, whatever I needed, stakes. I also have my toiletries in that lid for the backpack. Again, in here, this is all the bike tools, bike fixing, lock, and also spare inner tubes. And then up front, this is all my hydration and quick snacks. And again, you have a full pannier for all of the kitchen stuff that you would possibly need. Now, as an alternative, if you are looking for more space, I would take one of these bags, whether it's probably your tent, because maybe that doesn't matter if it gets so wet, but you could also do your sleeping, that other bag, and this would sit right on top of here, and that gives you a full half a pannier. So you've got plenty of space for 2 panniers, a frame bag, and some of those little carry-all bags on the handlebars. You're good to go. And you could also put a front handlebar roll on there, so if you did want to bring some extra clothes or anything else that you might not be able to fit in the back, you can also fit it in handlebar rolls. So easy to go touring if you don't have a bike that can take a front rack, or if you're looking to save a little bit of weight. Because when I go touring, one of the things that really bums me out, that makes the trip kind of a bust, is if the bike is weighted down and every time you get a hill or every time you hop on, the bike feels unsteady, and it's such a chore to ride. Whereas when you're riding like this, my wife and I, we just did Orcas Island and San Juan Island. We did the San Juan Islands. We bike toured just like this. Frame bag, carry-all, rear panniers, and it was great. We went for a full week. We camped at the campgrounds, and not once did I think I didn't bring enough stuff. And the bikes were super, super lightweight, so it made biking up the hills and stuff very, very manageable. So I hope you guys found some inspiration, some knowledge, some useful tips in this video. And I just really want to, encourage people to get out there on their bike touring. You don't need a fancy touring bike. You don't need front racks. Even if you can't run a rear rack, there's other bags that you can do. And I'm telling you, with this kind of kit, with this lightweight camping gear, for a few $100, you can set yourself up with a good touring setup without needing a bike that can have all the nibbins and braze-ons and things for racks. So don't use that as an excuse to not get out. Go out, have some fun. If you have any questions about the products shown in this video, leave a comment down below. I'm happy to answer all them, and I will do individual reviews of any products that you are interested in diving in deeper about. Again, if you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. Putting out new content every week. And thank you so much for your support. Cheers.